Welcome, BBCers, to episode number 3 of Reddit Reacts, or I guess Reddit Roast, because we roast the Redditors. I'm just kidding. We love takes. We love hot takes. We want to break down, narratives and visual narratives. That's what we do here on the Broken by Concept podcast. We're all about solo queue improvement, the number one solo queue improvement podcast. All right, so let's start scrolling. We got a first post here already. This title of this one is Broxah's YouTube channel is a gold mine for junglers. Wanted to share as a player who's transitioning into jungle. I do know a bit about jungle myself, Curtis. You know a little bit.
Not much.
Maybe a little bit more after you watch my Rek'Sai guide. I've been looking around YouTube for educational content that could be useful for someone like me. Oh, I know where he can find that. Who has been playing for a while but doesn't know much about the jungle role. After going through a lot of questionable content, either clickbaity or just coaches who are not doing a very good job at it in order to farm content. Oh, I'm being caught out here. I stumbled upon Broxah's channel. He has a great job conveying his thought process and thinking in general, shows you how to keep a good positive mindset despite toxicity, and is a world-class jungler. I recommend you start with this video where he coaches Platinum. Friend of his, they go through every step of the game in a very easy to understand way from what you should be thinking in champ select, your decision making, I thought it was really comprehensive, so just shouting this guy out. All right, so let's look at the comments here, Charles. That's what I'm interested in to see. Oh my god!
Oh,
I am the top comment here. Oh, there's nothing more to say anymore. I made it.
I am a genuine surprise. I haven't seen this. This is genuinely surprising.
I actually haven't seen this either, to be honest.
Look at that. You are number one on the list as well,
Oh
Nathan.
my god! It explains the
Oh my goodness.
the uptake
gracious.
of the YouTube videos. All right, let's go. Here we go. All right, I'm very confident that a combination of... Okay, so this is...
Who's Philaris?
Oh, he's the jungle clear god. I love Philaris. So I always say this guy puts in... He does the work that no one wants to do. He literally goes in practice tool and optimizes clears, like perfects clears, like to the millisecond, and he's consistently good. He's fantastic. Like, I would never do what he does, even though I'm a jungler. Like, I think clearing on a good time is good, but like, I like to put my effort and energy in other places.
Right,
but
interesting.
He puts it all in here, and you just copy the video, and you're like, thanks for doing all the work, Mr. Falaris.
Well, that's crazy.
Sitting in the practice tool for weeks on one champion, perfecting the clears.
So this guy thinks that a combination of Philaris and Broxah.
So he says the only downside with Broxah's content is if you don't play a meta jungler, but his champion pool is still pretty extensive.
Do you agree with that? That if someone were to watch Philaris and Broxah, they would get, with anyone with a good mindset, would get Diamond in a few months?
Oh, I mean, that's hard. It's very hard. There's so much more that goes into getting Diamond in a few months that we know. You know what I mean? Like,
well, it depends where you're starting, right? I mean, if you're plat 2, right, you're close. I reckon that would for sure, surely.
Yep.
But if you're a goal player, that's a big jump.
Also, with a good mindset, that's easier said than done. Okay.
Just
as we know from the Broken by Concept.
Conveniently, just have a good mindset.
Just have a good mindset. You know, you don't have to worry about it all. Don't worry about the gaming background, that sort of stuff.
All right, there's a lot of noise here.
Yeah.
Don't worry about this.
Recommending.
Yep, I mean, this is all pretty straightforward. Is there anything else you want to go over?
No,
it's pretty
straightforward. Here we go. I feel like with jungler, you need to understand the meta junglers, or you're kind of doomed in the game. Learning how to play Graves may be asked, but once you figure him out, you understand how to jungle into him. It's like understanding if you can play into Darius or need to ban him top lane. My Clash games get doomed because of this half the time we're forced to ban. Okay, this is...
Nah, it was got -1. Come on, it's not even...
Yeah.
People realize it's bullshit.
Yeah. I think
we're done with this. Pretty straightforward.
Right, next one.
Shout out to Broxah.
Oh, here we go. Another one. Look.
Oh, there was someone about you.
There's another one.
Was it about you?
Yeah. This is a what's it called?
Or is it go down a little bit? I think it was down a little bit.
Here we go. I've been really enjoying and appreciating Nathan Mott's content. I recommend that your first jungle clip is insanely helpful, though very unique from another educational content. Jeez, there we go.
Nathan, you're famous.
There we go. That's exciting. So that's the top post this week. All right, so let's look at the next some more posts. Not dying is not enough to win you games. Ooh. Do you want to take this one, Curtis?
Okay, title. Not dying is not enough to win you games. I'm kind of burnt out from ranked and have been spamming norms, which means I've been playing with lower elo players. Not that I'm high elo by any means. And I've noticed how scared some of these bronze and silver players play. Like they're scared to take a 2v2 because of the chance they'll die, or they won't re-engage a fight that can be turned around. I've been playing support, and sometimes the AD carry plays so far back that I can't even engage because they're never in position to trade because they're scared to play aggressive. You need to make plays to win games. You can't just sit back and hope everything turns out in your favor. You're also not going to improve mechanically if you don't take risky fights that require you to simply play better to win.
Okay, Curtis, you've played 3 games in bronze.
Well, look, again, like I do agree in some sense. I mean, we got to get more granular here because it's all situational, right? There are games where you can most definitely not die and win games, and there are games where simply sitting back on your tail is not going to win you games. That is true. I definitely agree with that. That's not going to win you every single game. The way I like to tackle this entire thing is, okay, first things first, he's coming from this lens of this person just play aggressive here because they can do it. Obviously, he knows to do that because he's had those experiences. He knows what a player can and can't do. So I agree that a lot of players in lower elo do need to push limits if they are confused, right? Like, there's only one way to find out. I actually had a conversation with Cupcake, Coach Cupcake, and he asked me a question. It was along the lines of, Curtis, how do you deal with giving clients advice such that they need to push their limits, knowing that if they make a mistake, it can lose them the game? And I said, well, I kind of push 2 narratives. Well, number one, yes, you kind of do have to, if you're ever confused about something, just do it, because that's the only way to find out, right? You're not going to know whether or not you could have taken that fight if you didn't do it, or if you could have killed that person if you didn't do it. You can't theoretically, theorize your way into learning that. But also, you have to accept reality that sometimes, yes, making that mistake might lose you the game. It can be a game-losing mistake. So I think when it comes to long-term improvement, if you are confused about something, do it. Even if it does lose you that game.
I like that.
Does that mean you need to limit test on every single aspect of the game? No. You need to get specific. Like, I recommend a lot, and this is actually tying back from my experiences learning champions. I think a massive misconception people have when learning champs is limit test everything. Like, limit test dives, limit test that, limit test like a few things. You might want to limit test your level 6 damage. You might want to limit test, heavy trades at level 3. You might want to limit test level 3 ganks on Rek'Sai, whatever it might be, to see what your champion can do. You got to do that. But you don't want to limit test every single second of every single part of the game. No, like, let's just limit test things that genuinely confuse you. So I agree with that in some sense. But is that in reference to winning? I mean, that's a different argument, isn't it? Winning versus learning.
So you're saying dying is not enough to win your games.
Not dying is not enough.
Yeah, dying is not enough.
So yeah, I do agree with that. I do agree with that.
I mean, it's definitely general advice, obviously.
It's very general, though.
But yeah, not dying, that's definitely a huge part of the game, but it's not the only part.
I mean, you can't
gotta know your
just sit
champion
in your
identity.
Nexus and not die and hope to win. Like, you still got to do your job.
Yeah.
It's like, do your job and not die.
That's right.
That's the other part of the equation.
Yes.
Do your job and not die. That's what wins you games. You can't have one half of it. So I do agree with that to a certain extent. So the top comment here,
that's funny.
I'm bronze, and my main problem is stupid engaging. So it's interesting. Yeah, I think most people have the other way around.
I think it's the other way around. I mean, think about it. I mean, even my gold reviews, in the mid game, there's very little map awareness. Someone's in base, they're going for a fight because they see person. I call it the monkey brain. I see person, I go kill.
Yep.
That's prevalent in every rank up until Grandmaster, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, from here, it seems
problem.
like there's 2 sides of the story. It seems like on one half, people are obsessed about limit testing and dying all the time and actually playing mindlessly. And on the other half, people are playing incredibly scared and not limit testing. I've actually seen both.
That's right.
I have seen both of my clients. So
yeah.
The key.
I think for junglers it's a bit different though, because we're just in our jungle all the time. So we're just so excited for a fight to happen. So we're just our instant thing is like, I've got my ult, I'm ready to go. Let's just go. You know? So I think junglers are just desperate for a fight.
I love this comment. After about 10 minutes, it feels like a good old round of Modern Warfare 2 team deathmatch.
I say that all the time. I say this is Call of Duty League of Legends.
We're playing Call of Duty
League of Legends.
Yep.
Do you want to play League of Legends or are we playing COD? Which one?
I
which
usually
one
say
are we doing?
Fortnite.
You play Fortnite. I like that. That's better.
Okay, look at this guy. I hit plat by spamming bot lane, farming Seraphine with a simple philosophy. Someone on one of the 2 teams will pop off a lot in the vast majority of games, and if they are on my team, I will follow them around and make it so they can't die. If they are on the enemy team, I CC them into oblivion so that they can die. The thing you wrote is very true and very exploitable.
It's such a It's such a interesting solution he's came to like climb in. You know, it's like that's his like. His,
Everyone, there's so many ways of. Oh, see that comment actually? Go up,
Which one?
sorry. However, dying can lose you every game.
Yeah, beautiful.
That's a
That's
great
the
one.
highest upvotes.
What a smart little guy.
Wait, we got to see the
Disco
top.
Ninjas.
We got to see the top upvotes, Charles. I think that's the highest one, right?
Yeah.
That's
So
Stranger
I
Things.
think
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, you can actually sort by top.
Top. Yeah.
Fascinating.
We're learning Reddit.
Learning on Reddit every day.
That's the good comment. I like that a lot.
Yeah. So I think it's pretty straightforward, right? I mean, this guy's got a pretty, he's got the right idea. I can kind of see where he's coming from. You need to be a little bit more specific. You still got to do your job, right?
Yeah. It says the good deaths. There is good deaths, but very rarely. I would say most of the times when people die, they're missing information. Most of the time, Curtis. Would you agree with that one?
Yeah, I can't actually recall a
good
time where
deaths.
I've said this is a good death.
So
in the last few months, honestly.
A good death. I think I said it once this week in one of my, like the.
I think it's more
series I
common
do.
for junglers.
It's like, let's say if you die, but you kill both of them bot and you've denied 3
Right.
waves. Like that's okay.
It's more, but I think it's way more common with junglers.
jungle. Yeah.
Because with a mid, I
we're
can't
just-
ever think, even in my games, where it's been a good death.
Yeah.
Very
probably
rarely.
not. Yeah. If my mid lane dies, it's pretty bad for
Mid lane
pressure on the
dying
map.
is goddamn terrible.
If my mid lane dies and the enemy mid laner is like still 50% HP, I literally have 0 options. I think
Yeah.
the game
Yeah.
is just hard.
really
you know?
hard. Consider fighting less. Let's go that one.
Ooh, that looks interesting. Yeah, I'll
wanna
take
read this one?
Yep. All right, so consider fighting less. It's been said countless times, but I feel it can always be reminded, myself included, the point of this game isn't to fight and to get kills, but rather to destroy the enemy nexus. You can win the game with 0 kills. You cannot win the game with 0 towers. I love this already. So you remember we said the last episode how we always get afraid. We like read the first bit. It's like a horror story. You don't know which direction it's going. This is where here we go. The next line. I haven't even read it. Here we go. Fighting when behind just helps the opponent to further snowball their lead. Yes. Before you fight, consider if there's any big waves crashing your tower or if it's a fight, you can even win. If their one-fed player is across the map with no TP, that might be a good fight, but you have no vision on their team, probably best to avoid fighting. The game is won on objectives and gold, not on kills. KDL damage dealt. Amazing. This is incredible.
You think this? So what comes to mind? Why do you get excited about this, Nathan?
I get excited about this because people. So the default mindset, because kills do get you things in the game, right? So this is why the Fortnite and the Call of Duty League of Legends type mindset happens, is because killing's fun. That's the thing. It's like I'm better than you, and in general, the kills do win you the game.
Yeah.
But you have to always fight that battle in your brain, because it's been rewarded so many times with winning games from killing people. Thinking bigger picture, obviously. It's like, what does this kill actually mean? In jungle,
Right.
my Rexa guide's all about what's a
the
high impact
value
kill.
of a kill?
Yes, what's a high impact kill versus a low impact kill based on the game state linkation, that sort of stuff.
So
This is incredibly important.
you like this post because you feel most people fight mindlessly.
Yes, there's
and
no
fall into the
intention.
trap of kill.
They're fighting over
Don't
no
know
reason.
why what they're getting for this kill.
There's no objective. Let's say
Yep.
Baron's up, but they're fighting bot. They're going bots up to fight.
Classic.
Right? I mean, this is a
Yeah.
huge part of my coaching, Curtis. I'm interested
Interesting.
why this is not a huge part of your coaching.
So
Is it just because junglers? I think again the core pillar of junglers is we spend so much time clearing our camps. We're just desperate for any type of fight.
interesting. Well, the reason I'm not okay. So puzzles, I do agree. I think it's important we understand, especially later in the game, like in the mid game,
Yep.
like why we're trying to fight.
Yep.
I think that is good. But I think League fundamentally, you can't just get towers. You can't just get objectives. Like, you got to take good trades. You got to fight people.
Yes.
And so
That's true. Yeah.
I think, just again, playing devil's advocate here, I feel like a lot of people
Don't fight.
can find this as a cop out. It's like, well,
Okay.
it's like rather than understanding my matchup and taking good trades, I can just chill,
Yep.
farm, and then I'll group in that team fight and we can win. But I think people underestimate taking good quality trades in lane and getting pressure and, trying to create windows for yourself via fighting and taking good quality fights. And I think that the way the game is heading is that it is largely determined by skirmishing. And actually, that's actually a narrative that I I struggle hard to get across with a lot of people. Like I try to tell them that
very
the
interesting.
league there is all these skirmishes
Yes.
that you got to be good at skirmishing. Like the game,
It is,
and you
yes.
struggled
You
with
can't
this,
avoid it.
Nathan. That like you can be as good as you want at pathing and all the shit, but if you don't know how to skirmish,
doesn't mean anything.
it
You're
doesn't
just
mean
dead.
jack shit because you don't know how to fight. So, yes, I do agree, but at the same time, I feel like this is. It depends on the type of person reading this post. If someone's reading it, a very kill hungry person that is going kill, 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 that they know how to kill, they're very good at that, and they know their limits. This would probably might get them thinking in the right direction. But someone who doesn't is already scared. I've had clients that are scared to fight, that actually aren't confident in their skirmishing ability. They don't even know how to improve their skirmishing, so they actually just say no to fights and say no, don't push their limits, don't really understand their matchups, are very general in their approach. They could use this as fuel to be like, maybe I'm doing the right thing.
Narrative, yeah. That's very fascinating. And again, I think that's purely the difference between jungle and me. Because if you think of it in terms of like getting people loaded, take plates and take a tower, like we don't, as junglers in general, we don't just hit towers, like we can only break towers from like, I guess you break towers again from a kill.
Yeah. Still from a kill or ganking someone, is it not?
Yeah, but again, the ganks that they go for are low percentage.
Right.
So it's like they have the right idea. Yeah, obviously if you kill them, you can get that, but it's like they'll gank with a huge wave and they die.
But don't you feel like learning how to fight is like a fundamental?
It is.
Like I kind of feel like you need to learn how to fight before you learn the strategy behind it.
That's actually a good point. So if I think about the ideal case, let's say you're learning the game of League of Legends.
Yeah.
Zero knowledge, zero macros, zero fighting. Learn how to fight. Learn all the champions, and then we learn.
And
that
then
stuff.
we
That's
learn
a
the
better
stuff.
way.
It's a better way.
I
Like
agree,
if you come from an angle of objectives and macro and win cons, it won't make sense. Like your journey will be so much harder than if you were to learn how to fight and know your limits and that sort of thing.
I actually agree with that one. Yeah, I guess my lens here is from my high elo clients, Diamond and
these
stuff
are all
like
people
that.
who kind of already probably know how to fight and they know the limits on the
right.
gems. They have that chamber understanding.
Yeah, this post would be, and my answer
could be dangerous, right? To a certain type of person.
My answer from this post and my answer, to this post and just reading this is more of a lens of, you know how to fight. You know what your champ does.
Exactly.
Champ master in the enemy team.
So that's why I'm 50-50 on this one.
I think this could also be. Let's read some comments on this one. Let's go to the top one so we can see some useful comments. That was the top one.
But my KDA is an orange when I look at my OPGG and I'm never the MVP.
That's a sarcastic comment.
What else we got here? What about this one, Nathan?
Or more like if your team decides to play ARAM or Dancer on the River, find something more efficient, effective to do. This is, you got to fight with your team.
You got to fight.
Yeah.
You got to fight. What I said, you're not going to avoid the ARAM.
Yeah, the ARAM, people have this negative thing towards the ARAM. Yeah, you got to do it. Like, let's go. Especially if you're behind. ARAM is very good.
Yeah, look at this.
Because you force everyone to come to you.
Yeah, look at this.
Oh.
This is a bad idea. If your team makes suboptimal plays and you abandon them, you're just dooming them to fail. It's better to go with the suboptimal play as they have a chance at succeeding than to let them fail for sure. That's how you get hard losing games. Yeah.
Would you even use the word suboptimal?
Ish. Yeah, suboptimal comparative to what?
Yeah.
That's something I actually learned that's a really good point because, you watch Korean solo queue, you could imagine, this would be a fascinating experience, right? Let's say we took a Korean challenger game, but we said this was a EU gold. And then we removed all the names. You wouldn't be able to tell. You can't see anything. You actually don't even know the server it's on for whatever reason. Maybe you changed the language on it. And then you got like a platinum NA. And then you said that this was, or maybe you actually didn't say what they were at all. And said, which one's the higher rank? We've watched the first 10 minutes. I wonder what the responses would be, or what people would, what rank they would guess these games to be. Because sometimes a platinum NA might even look better macro-wise or more sophisticated than a Korean challenger.
In a certain
In a Korean challenger, you see level 1 fights.
Yeah.
You will see just really random ganks. You'll see people dying solo. You'll just see random shit everywhere. Macro-wise, Korean challengers solo queue looks terrible. There is actually no macro. It's just fighting. Skirmishing.
It's interesting. I'm pretty sure if I was to watch the first 10 minutes of a jungler, I'm pretty sure I could have a really good idea who the
Of course you would, but I'm talking about the average player.
Oh, okay. So you're saying it's for mid lane.
Of course we would. You would tell straight away just by looking at the mid
Okay.
lane, they're literally first
The first
15
couple
seconds.
of trades, yeah.
But for an average player, like these people in this Reddit thread here, what would that look like? What would they guess? Because see here, you said that if your team makes suboptimal plays, right? We're talking about like what if this guy's calling grouping suboptimal, then what is optimal?
Well, his mindset will be going to a side lane.
Yeah, side laning, 1-3-1-ing and all that shit. But no one 1-3-1s. How are you going to 1-3-1 solo queue?
That's not practical.
That's not
It's
practical,
theoretical.
right?
It's definition of theoretical.
And the people who question that, they say, oh yeah, but in a perfect world, we'd be playing the side lane and then people would be balancing pressure. You got to remember that League is an incredibly complex game. Your mental stack is already pushed to the extreme. So you have to you're having to factor in all these variables and all these pieces of information in real time over and over again without anyone communicating that. So like your top lane is split pushing bot, your mid lane has gone top side and you're playing Jinx mid. And then you're having to constantly engage where the enemy mid laner is, the enemy top laner is, the support, what sums they have, where the jungler is, there's all this information that's flowing. Chances are, if the enemy has a lot of tools, it'd be better if they just run at that AD carry and try and kill him.
Literally, yeah.
They're probably going to kill him.
That's right.
He's going to have a lapse in judgment and he's going to die.
Yep.
But would you say that's suboptimal? Macro-wise?
That's why that word suboptimal gets thrown around
It's
in
very
League a
weird,
lot.
isn't it?
But I think it's just too theoretical. I see where they're coming from, and there's definitely situations where, maybe the ARAM is not the play, but it's not as simple as that. As you said, there's a lot of information, things popping up. And
a lot of information.
The way people are playing all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting. Moving on.
Yep, let's go to another thread.
Yeah, I think this one's kind of done. All right. My brain hurts. Help me understand Soul Point. My brain is genuinely hurting trying to understand the exact meaning of this phrase. This is our soul point. I have two people I play with, and one says, this is our soul point when we are fighting for the third Drake. The other says, this is our soul point when we are fighting for the soul/the fourth Drake. I've noticed people in chat don't have a consistent meaning for it too. Someone will say, this is our soul point, and another person will say, no, we're only on 2 Drakes. So if someone steals your soul point, are they denying the third or fourth Drake away from you? It's not that big of a deal because I understand what they're both saying in the moment. I know I'm just overcomplicating a simple thing.
This is a hot topic in the
It's
community.
hilarious.
So you might understand it's the third dragon. Is that right?
Soul point is the third dragon.
Yes, because it's
Soul point. Let me think about this. Like, okay.
I didn't even want match point from Tennessee.
Okay, so if I think about soul point, like if someone says, all right, this is soul point, guys, we've got to fight. I never even hear that term really. Do you? Soul point?
I have heard of it a lot, but I've never
In solo
actually
queue.
thought about it.
I've heard it like floating around, but no one like types this is
no
soul
one
point,
types
right?
it,
They'll just
yeah.
ping drag.
That's right.
This is soul point. To be honest, I actually, when I think about that, for some reason, I think it's the fourth
one.
dragon.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
soul
believe it's
point.
the third one.
Really?
Yeah. I've heard of it in commentators and stuff like that. So a producer saying it's from match point in tennis. What's match point in tennis?
Match point is
If they do one more
it's
after that.
No, match point is when you're at the end and then one more point you win. Yeah. So it's like you're 40, 30.
So it's the fourth dragon.
So it's 40, 30.
Yeah.
They're on the person who's 40 is on match point. So they need to get one more to win. But what do you mean? So when you say we've got to get this soul point, no, that's actually interesting because do you say soul point like we're going to fight soul
correct.
point like that's the third dragon or we already have it?
It's like match point. It's like,
No,
yeah,
if
we're
it is
getting-
tennis, then I'm right.
Okay.
It is if it's tennis.
But
So Charles, you're trying to get out of the conversation. But if it's soul point, then it's the fourth drag because you're already on the third and this is the fourth. That means you've already got the third dragon. Now this is soul point. But if you're getting the third dragon, then
doesn't that make you get on
that makes you get to
the
soul
match point?
match point. All right, let's just say we don't know.
I don't know.
know.
It's the whole topic. Go to the top comment. I wanna
Yeah,
see
yeah.
what it's-
Oh, this guy's one.
guy
Dude, this guy
Kofast.
knows his
This guy
shit.
knows
This
his
guy's got
stuff.
one
He
point.
knows more than me.
Yeah. Dr. Wallowitz. Soul point just means your team will get the soul with the next dragon you kill. So a team is on soul point if they have killed 3 dragons. Yes. So I suppose you could say
That's what
you're
we did
fighting
saying.
for soul point if you're fighting for the 3rd drag, as killing it would mean you are at soul point. It's like in other sports when a team is on game at game point, their next point results in a victory. Yeah, same idea.
Only correct answer in this thread.
Okay. Yep. Even I got confused.
That's
here.
a hot topic.
Reddit's really confusing me today.
There you go. All right,
moving on.
Next one.
I'm learning stuff on Reddit. It's an educational platform.
This is.
Learning. Oh, this one's going to be a good one. I love this one.
Why is this? Why is Summoner School just about junglers, man? Honestly, do I help my jungler if he's been invaded at like level 2-3 while I'm the mid laner? I've had this scenario a few times where my jungler has been invaded, usually around the 2nd buff at level 2-3, and I've been spamming to come and help and then flame because I usually don't come due to it probably costing me an entire minion wave. If I do path it over to help, what is the correct play usually in this scenario?
I want to hear your take on this.
Really?
Do you get this situation in the Soul 2? Do people bring these VODs?
That's so interesting. I never, ever, ever expect my laners to rotate to me on the invade. All right, so think about it. It's just not possible for them to react in time. So think about it, right? Let's say if you're clearing, you have no ward, you just pop up on your red buff.
Yep.
And they come, and then they will push you off the red buff, right?
Yep.
You're either chunked or you're dead, right?
Yeah, you're probably chunked at this stage.
Right. So let's say you're chunked.
Yep.
Because if you're dead, obviously you've lost it, right?
Yep.
So let's say you're chunked, right? Then it's your responsibility as a jungler to then be looking sort of if like you have to play slow, you have to get into a slow because at the end of the day, just be very specific here because the buff's either gone or you just because the enemy jungler, if you're chunked, even if you're on 30% HP, you run away. The enemy jungler can't just start the buff. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, let's give a different example then. Let's say there's a ward on the ramp. Okay. And let's say the mid laner's got like 1.5 waves like pushed into him. And he's getting shoved in. And he's like, there's literally 1.5 wave, maybe even 2 waves kind of shoving into him.
Yeah.
And the jungler gets seen on that ward and you see him kind of, say we're on red side, he walks over that ramp and he's like walking behind the red. And then your jungler is just about to start the red. And then he starts being assist ping, spam assist ping. And you're a mid laner and you got kind of 2 waves about to crash onto your tower. What do you do?
Oh, of course. The mid laner getting those 2 waves is way more important than my red buff.
Okay, what if it's 1 wave?
Again, yeah, if it's 1 wave, 100% still take that wave. Because, all right, so if you're the jungler, you're full HP. Maybe let's say you're 50% HP.
We'll say 70. Let's say you're 70%.
And you know that, and you know it's probably a free kill.
Well, nothing's ever a free kill, right?
That's right. It's not because he'll just flash over the wall.
Yeah, he's just gonna he's not committed.
Then you can scare off a jungler very easily as well. You can just throw a skill shot in the bush and stuff.
What if he's on the red?
If he's on the red, you know he's there.
And he's coming.
Well, then usually you can kill them if you're the jungler. Unless you're the weakest.
No, but yeah, he's a weaker jungler. Generally, that's how it happens, right? You're the weaker jungler, you're getting invaded on, right?
Shit, I don't know, dude. I actually don't. Honestly,
you're never in that situation.
I don't experience these situations. Like, I'm trying to think. Like, I'm really trying to think, is this just Halo Nathan talking? Or like, I'm just thinking about my reviews and everything.
Yeah. Because this is incredibly common.
Is it really?
I get this clip. Like, someone clips this to me. I mean, not every day, but like every few days, once every few days, maybe once. Like I've probably done this exact situation hundreds of times, literally hundreds.
Okay. So now that I think of it, when stuff like this happens, I usually might say it's just a pathing error. You path the lane,
yeah,
you already knew.
It's the jungler's fault every time.
It's
right?
the jungler's fault.
They haven't tracked the enemy jungler. They haven't protected their ass. They haven't anticipated they would get invaded on, and it's their responsibility to give up the buff a lot of the time, right?
Yeah, I only want my mid laner to rotate unless that's good for them, unless they have nothing else to do.
Yeah, really. if they can get away with it.
Absolutely.
What happens in these games, right?
Yeah.
Is that either one or two situations happens. They don't, or they move and they miss like a shit ton of CS, and then like it's just a shit show.
Yeah.
And they just they lose lane off it.
Yeah.
Or they don't go, the jungler dies because they usually never give up buffs. Like in gold, we're talking in gold and plat, right? They never give up buffs. No. They will die on that buff. They will die there rather than give up that buff, right? And then they die, and then they just flame the mid lane, like spam ping mid, and just like, what the fuck? That's generally what happens 95% of the time in my reviews, what I've seen. And what I tend to say is it's situational. If you can go, even if you're going to miss a few creeps, if you're going to miss like 3 or 4 creeps, I'd say tend to go.
Yep.
Like, yeah, you can work with that.
Depends what champion if you're a Malzahar, I don't care. If you're a Galio, maybe with Predator.
Yeah, like again, it depends. Like,
I guess you're not Predator at that time.
So like, there's no cookie cutter formula.
No.
It depends on how well you think you guys as a 2v2 can turn that around.
And let's say, I think it's different if the enemy mid laners go in there and you see them start posturing and then you can sort of cut them off.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, a lot of the time my solution is rather than going to the play,
You just, like,
try and
push
cut
them
them
off,
off. Push
or-
them off,
yeah.
yeah. Walk up and heavy trade with them.
Yeah.
Even if it's not the best trade, like try and heavy trade with them to keep it in an isolated 1v1. That's what I try to do if possible.
Yeah, this is definitely on a jungler because again, the way that I think you talk about reviews are like most of the time invades are actually really bad for the enemy jungle because as long as you don't die, even if you lose the buff, you've cleared all your level 1 camps off the map. All their camps are still level 1.
Yeah, people get so tunneled on that red
it
buff.
actually doesn't even matter. I mean, do you know how many times I actually get invaded as Rek'Sai because you're weak level 1? I literally type in my team, give red, all good. I just win the game through I don't even invade their junk camps. I just take 3 camps, bank, whatever. I catch up back on the second.
If you're not
and
getting
camps.
more than 1 camp as an alpha invade, it's not worth it. You have to get at least 2 camps, right? Like to make the invade worth it.
And we also need to kill them or like burn a flash or something to make it worth it.
Yeah, because then you have the travel time as well. Because the travel time is way more.
That's right. So invades are like they can, as long as you don't do the random fight as a jungler, it actually works.
Yeah, they're only good if you get a kill. Usually they do end up getting a kill
because they fight.
Because they fight, right? They don't want to
can't
give up the buff.
accept
They
losing,
spam it. Oh, they can't give up the red. Yeah, 100%. And yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. It is the jungler's fault.
Correct.
Again, as a mid laner, it just depends. There's no. So, like you said, if you're a Galio and you're going to miss 4 creeps, probably worth moving. If you're an Orianna, you got 6 creeps, probably not. Probably not worth going. There's no. We could go on forever with all the amount of variables that you need to consider, right? Yeah. So, let's see the comments. I'd be really interested to see the comments.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting. But just junglers just saying, please feel sorry for me.
All right, I'll read this one here. When I play mid early game, I try to be the jungler's bitch. Like, no joke. I shove and roam for crab. I come if they ping. I move first for objectives. If they're going, waves be damned. If my jungler is strong and I know they can trust me to be there, the team is stronger as a whole. If we win those early engagements because I move first, guess what? Now the opponent jungler is flaming their laners for not moving, and now they are tilting and flaming each other. I find a lot of the time people overvalue having their own game state be perfect rather than working as a team. If your team is burning and falling apart around you, I don't care that if you have a perfect freeze, we're still losing the actual game. Yes, I do agree that junglers, look, giving a wave, again, situational, like, okay, I do believe resources on a jungler in the early game is more impactful than a mid laner. I do agree with that. But that is a very general thing. I've lost lanes off moving sometimes, and then the jungler can't make up for that. I've seen that many, many times. So I don't like the extent this guy's going. Like he's like literally, he says, I shove and roam for crab, like, stuff like that.
It just doesn't work.
You should play what's good for your matchup. Yeah. If you need to do what like, I'm never going to change the way I play my
You can't be a bitch for your jungler.
Because I feel as though this guy might contest for crab. Like, no, I'm playing my wave the way I want to play my wave. And he goes in, I'm going to ping back because I don't want to, because sometimes when a mid lane matchup, you need the wave in a good spot. Otherwise you'll lose your lane. You actually need the wave in a good spot. Like fizzing on LeBlanc, you need the wave, or Silas, you need the wave on your side. I'm not losing my lane because of that. For a scuttle, that's worth jack shit anyway. So this is, again, it's, whenever I read this, it's so hard. It's just too, there is no cookie cutter formula, is there? It's just so situational.
There's all these junglers saying, I love you. I would kill for laners with anything close to this mindset. Dude, if your laners have that mindset, I don't want a laner with that mindset because that means they're not playing to win. They need to be decisive. And
laners,
that's really bad.
Laners are the carries. Laners need to be selfish in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not even laners are carries. Like, again, you can still, even if you get invaded, you can still fucking carry the game as a jungler. Like, just have good decision making.
Do you like, look at this, like, as well, dude, as a jungler man, I cannot stress enough how many free kills are passed up because junglers don't move to help their jungler. Like, I feel like this is just, I don't know. Something doesn't sit right with me when I hear this.
No, I don't.
Like, it's like, if it's so free, like, I mean, I feel like it's 2 things. Most laners don't understand the importance of adapting to a river skirmish. I do agree with that. I do agree that there are a lot of laners that they don't need to fully shove out the wave. They can just move. Like, as long as your wave isn't in a terrible position, you're not giving up a lot of creeps, just move. Giving up 3 or 4 creeps, not a big deal, right? I do agree with that. But at the same time, I also feel junglers underestimate how difficult it is to lane. Like your mental stack is very overwhelmed. Like you're trying to CS, you're trying to trade. Like there's a lot of things going on.
And you're trying to track the enemy jungler as well.
Yeah, like there's a lot of shit going on. It's not like we don't have
the luxury
of just sitting there observing the entire map like you do. You know, like we've got other shit to do. So I feel like get one of these junglers to play a lane and they'll understand. You know, yeah, I mean, look at all these junglers saying thank you. This is insane.
Dude, this is not what you want as jungler, dude. If I have laners like this, dude, I'm just done, dude.
So yeah, I don't know.
And again, guys, this is coming from me as a challenger jungler. Just think about that perspective for a second. I'm literally disagreeing with all these junglers here, and this is me. This is the way I play the game. It's just for my reviews. It's just your fault.
What does that even mean? What does playing for the team versus playing for lane mean? Like it really breaks down. What's that? If you were to think about that, if you hear that statement, playing for the team versus playing for yourself, like. I don't even know what that means.
I don't know what that means either.
Because every decision is a cost, and it's like an analysis. This is what I'm going to get for doing this, and that's what I'm going to get for doing that. There's no such thing as I play for the team because that's what the moral high ground is.
Yeah, no.
Or like it's like I'm doing that because I feel like I'm going to get more.
Playing for the team is actually a selfish thing. If I counter gank someone or help someone get a wave in, that look again. This is the mindset people in the comments struggled. They say like, oh, I play for the team, or Nathan, like, what are you talking about? Like, League's a team game. Like, selfishly, I'm helping someone get a wave in so they can have a good recall, so I know they get strong, and then I can continue to win the game.
Nathan's not helping that laner because he wants that guy to be happy chappy. He's doing that because he doesn't want that guy complaining, and he wants that guy lane to have prior later on.
That person's going to be strong. I can use them to win the game.
He's using him as a pawn.
I'm selfishly using that person as a pawn.
Nathan's like the king, and he's directing everyone else to go out and do that. For him, he's the one directing it.
I'm not playing for the team. Dude, I would never say I'm playing for the team in my game.
Yeah, it's so weird, isn't it? I don't really know what playing for the team versus playing for the self is.
It's
either
struggle.
Something is the most, you're getting more value, like more pressure, more impact, or you're not, right?
That's right.
So like, then the question is, okay, really, when we're breaking down, like if we're talking optimal League of Legends, even though this is a fucking buzzword, when it comes to that invade, what's more valuable, giving that red buff and getting these 7 creeps under in lane?
Or I can see this, and my mid laner gets all the minions, they roam, their mid laner waste time, and then I can just go trade something on the side of the map.
Yeah, like weighing it up. Like giving 7 CS for this, maybe we can play this coin flip 2v2, or give the red, I get my 7 CS, and then whatever.
That's right.
But then it's a cost analysis a lot of the time, right? That's how I review it. What would be the most valuable? But then there's also, is this guy going to do it anyway, right? Then there's all that comes into play. But I've never, and this is coming from Challenger play. I've been Challenger for 8 seasons, whatever the hell it is. I've never thought I need to play for the team or play for myself. I'm doing what I believe is most coherent with the win condition.
Nexus.
Yeah, what I believe will increase my chances of killing the Nexus.
Yeah.
And
you just never think this
sometimes that may on the surface look like I'm playing selfishly because I need to hold the wave. But I know that if I push this wave and help this jungler, yes, he might get the crab, but now I'm going to play ping pong with waves for the next 3 minutes versus this Kassadin. Fuck off. I want to freeze onto Kassadin, and I will give up everything I will give up both scuttles. I don't give a shit because I need to punish this Kassadin now. Otherwise, it's gonna bite us in the ass later on. Right? Like I've been through that situation, and then there are other situations where it doesn't matter, and I will just play for Prio because I've got a Kindred that's invading, and then that Kindred's got a great matchup, and I'm playing Galio. Of course, me holding the wave, it won't matter in that situation. It's champ specific, it's win con specific, it's elo specific as well, right? All this stuff comes into play.
All right,
I love win cons, right?
Yep. I think this is a really interesting one. Again, I think I need to keep chipping away at this because people have really struggled to get that mindset of playing.
I feel like there's a lot of these posts, Nathan. What I'm feeling, we're talking about champion. We spoke about champion identity this week, right? With that term that we created.
You created.
I created. Shout out, just letting people remind people every. I want to remind people every.
Shout out to Coach Curtis.
Every day, every session, every episode.
If you use it, you owe Curtis $1.
Yes. That we need this terminology missing here. Over the next few years, Nathan, we need to actively create new terms,
analogies.
Yeah, actually, no, straight up terms, not even analogies, straight up terms.
Yeah, they're nice
to describe this stuff. Like I'm pulling shit out of my ass, like what the hell's cost analysis? It makes no sense. It's a terrible way.
People say like, you think the business where they tune out. I was like, what are you talking about, man?
We're talking about Venn diagrams and shit. It's just we need to really
We need
make
to-
some stuff
yeah.
up here. We need to make some
All right,
terminology.
I'll
We need to
put more effort into it.
because all this stuff, like, because people are having
Needs
a
to be
crack, right?
explained.
I want to play for the team, not for the lane. Whenever we hear these terms, playing for the team and not for the lane, that's a guy. He might have the right idea, but he doesn't know how to articulate it. That's where we're missing terminology here.
League specific stuff. We're going to create a dictionary, a league dictionary.
Yeah, that would be a fascinating episode of Broken by Concept, where we actually get people to write in situations that they can't describe, and then we
come up
actually
with a
spend the
term.
entire episode going through these situations and creating terms.
Oh,
How cool is that?
there we go, Curtis. We're gonna shape the
You heard it here
future.
first.
Shape the future of League of Legends with the Broken by Concept edition of the League of Legends
BBC Dictionary.
dictionary.
Is there any other things you want to go? We'll wrap it up.
We'll wrap it up there. It's good to wrap it up.
Okay.
All right, that's it for episode number 3 of Reddit Reacts. We'll see you next time.